Good morning and welcome to Morning Moments. Thank you for joining us today, whatever time you're actually joining us on whatever platform. Today, I have from North Carolina the owner and agent of the Brock Agency, and none other than Beverly Brock herself. Welcome to Morning Moments, Beverly.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's nice to be here.
Yes, and nice to have you. It's great to have somebody on the other side of the film industry helping people find their roles and all. And I've talked to a lot of directors and actors, but I always love talking to the agents as well. Well, so let me ask you, what do you do and why do you do it?
I ask myself that all the time. I am an agent for young kids, cradle to the grave. One of my friends in New York says that, and I thought, oh, I love that. I'm gonna use that. And he's funny guy. But and that's true because we get a lot of requests for older talent and then younger talent too. But I have a lot of people that come to me who have no resume, so I try to help guide them on where to go to get work and what sites can help them maybe do some indie work and some films and some commercials, and then come back to me. I just interviewed a little girl and her mom yesterday. It took a year. They came back. I said, "Why didn't you sign with me before?" She said, "Remember, you told us to get her some things behind her under her belt." She said, "Well, she's done gymnastics, she's done swimming, and now she's horseback riding. She's 3 years old." I said, "That's so impressive." I said, "You did like I told you." I said, I'm already impressed. That just made my day. And she was adorable, wanted to tell me all about her horse. And it was just a great. So I have people all across the country and overseas as well. And I try to have them communicate with me at least every other week so I can keep track of what they're doing and what they've done to update my pitches when I pitch them for projects. There's so much going on around the world, but I like to make sure I pick and choose the right projects for everybody. And so I only know when I talk to them, this is what I want to do, this is what I don't want to do. So, and I always, respect their values and respect what they want and what they don't want, because a lot of their values are like mine. Because a lot of people come to me because of my signature on my email. They've told me so many times, it says, "In God we trust." And someone goes, "Aren't you afraid you don't get any work?" I went, "No, I'm not afraid. I'm not." And I've never not gotten work because of my signature sign off. So I'm just blessed. I feel like more and more every day. And why I do it. That's a hard story. I started out when I was very young. I was telling one of my screenwriters in New York. He was asking me some questions. How do you get started in this? I have represent screenwriters too, and I have them all over the world. But I only take 12 at a time because it's hard to pitch screenplays anywhere. But I have some excellent ones right now. Great. You got to get pitch decks together, scissor wheels, a sundry of things. And it's money involved in getting it ready. So I help them, but I tell them, I said, I stop and think, and I ask God, why am I doing this? Tell me why I'm doing this. Should I keep doing this? And the answer always is yes. And the next day never fails. They say, "I'm so glad you're doing this because I feel good with you. I feel like you're a godly woman and that you're going to help protect my child and me." And that almost makes me cry every time because I feel like, thank you, God, you've given me the sign again. And and this is a hard business. It's hard. You have to have thick skin, tough skin. And there are a lot of great shows on, and they're up and down. It's cyclical, very much so. It's very historical. Everything's cyclical in everything you do. But I started when I was 12. I sold sunshine greeting cards. I had to walk 6 miles to do that, to sell those. I was the top selling sunshine greeting card girl that summer. And then I did a lot of sales stuff, but I was in a lot of folk Christian groups, folk musical groups. I was in 3. And the third one, we made an album. It tells you how old I am, to sell for our traveling. And I was the lead vocalist on the album. And we did really, my daddy wanted me to be a Christian singer. I said, "Daddy, it's so hard to get into the Christian music industry." And I don't know how I knew that at 15, but I feel like God was speaking to me then. Because I got into it, not stop, don't stop, don't stop. And I got into another band, and I got into another band. The third band, I owned it, and I marketed it. I owned all the equipment at 17, and I wrote the contracts. and I booked the venues. And I was telling him, I said, I sat in all the movies and watched all the credits roll, even when I was young. And my sisters would get so mad. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. And I said, I've got to watch who did it. I've got to, who did the costuming. I've got to see who did the sound mixing. How do you know all that? I said, I don't know. I just want to see it. And I guess it was all a path to today, you know? So I do it because it helps others and it helps give me a sense. I get as excited when they get an audition or a booking as they get. And the enthusiasm that it spills over to them is almost like a family thing, because we call ourselves the TBA family, the Brock Agency family. And that's always a blessing to me too, because they feel like they can call me for anything. And I want them to. I said, there's never a stupid question. Any question you ask me is good, because you'll learn from my knowledge of 45 years of being in the industry. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, really. It's a big nutshell. But that's why I do it, is to help others achieve their goals and achieve their dreams. And maybe it's not going to be their dreams. I have another guy with me. He's not with me now because he's not an actor anymore, but he came to me as a young actor in college. He wasn't in college yet. He wanted to get into the School of the Arts in Winston-Salem. He said, would you write me? He was my actor then. He said, will you write me a letter of recommendation? I said, absolutely. So I did, and someone else did. And he got in the school on our letters because he was very dedicated, very driven, and he's done so well. And he worked at NBC in New York behind the scenes, not in front of the camera, behind the scenes, because he's written a lot of screenplays. He's directed and produced, but he still remembers to this day. He wrote me a nice note on my birthday. If it wasn't for you helping me, I wouldn't have known my path. I mean, that's a blessing to me. And he's now in his almost 30, I guess. So back in college, that was back when he went into college. So that's why I do it, is for those rewards that I get from helping people and the direction.
And it's probably very rewarding to see somebody from the very beginning and see what God has for them as the doors open, and to
Right,
see that
right,
you were a part of that, assisting them to get there.
right, exactly. So, and he's such a great guy. I have a lot of great people with me all over the country, overseas too. I have this cute girl from Sweden, and or maybe she's the Netherlands. I always get that confused, but she is just beautiful. She flew over here to see me and to go see Joel Osteen, she was just so excited to see him. Oh my gosh, she just couldn't stop talking about it. It was so fun. Her sponsor brought her here to see me before she went back home. And she's just lovely, and just all the way from overseas to see us. It was just, that was a blessing too. So, and she'll know who I'm talking about when if she sees this, and she will.
Well, you help so many people with their dreams. What would you tell people today that's looking for their purpose and their plan? What would you tell them, and how to find that?
It's I pray a lot. Number one, I mean, I pray for focus and direction, and to help people find their way, but more than anything, help me find my way. Even though I'm older, you've got a new direction almost every day. There's something new that comes to your your feet every day. And if you don't ask for it, God, show me what you have for me. And there's a lot of even with me, I can help people so much, and then they feel like they haven't been helped enough. But I have to let them go, because if they think I'm not helping them enough, are they helping me enough? You got to help me as much as I help you. And if it's just like, it's got to be a two-way street. That's what it has to be. That's why I touch and base with me. Email me, call me every other week. I've got actors in New York who call me some of them call me every week or email me every week, which is fine, because I stay in touch with what they're doing, whose workshops they're taking, because it helps know that because you can read the information on Harrison Ford. I think it took him 10 years to get his first big role. He had background stuff on Gunsmoke. I remember seeing him in Gunsmoke, just riding that horse, and he did construction on the side to make a living. You can't just stop working. You have to keep working and take your jobs as they come. And construction was perfect for him because you could get off, get off your job and go do your film or whatever. And then, not go broke doing it. And then he became a huge star after that. There's a plenty of people that you can read about that it happened to. Pink was one of the people too. She lived in a car 2 years. There's a lot of people. And so you have to put forth the effort, but you have to listen to those who know things that help you. I mean, I want to help everybody's with me, but not everybody is going to listen to what you say. They're just true. It's just true. And that's okay. If it's not the right path here for them, they'll find the right path, hopefully. So I don't ever begrudge anybody for not staying, because most of the people have been with me. Most of my people have been with me anywhere from 5 years to 20 years.
Wow.
That's a long, and a lot of people bring their kids back to me after they've been with me years back. They say, "Do you remember me?" I said, "I remember your voice. Send me a picture," and I can see their face. I can see them as children, and that's a blessing too, to have people that trusted you before and they come back again.
Down below, I've had the website down below of Beverly, so that if you're in the industry, you want to get a hold of her. If you got a script that you want to talk to her about some actresses.
I take only 12 writers at a time, and right now, but I'll be open for more screenplays, hopefully in June, because we should have 2 of them sold by June, God willing. I mean, the door's open, so, and maybe more. I mean, because I have really great screenwriters with me.
She may have somebody in her talent pool that you need for your movie or your project. So, it's a great connection with her, and check her website out. And if you're in the industry, get a hold of her. For the rest of you who said, "Well, this may not apply to me," there's a lot of things about finding your purpose that apply to you if you just think about it. As we close this interview, I want you to check her website out, but more important than that, I want everybody listening to this interview today to take a few minutes and pray for Beverly. You see, Beverly desperately needs your prayers so she continues to be where God wants her to be. She needs your prayers, folks, and you need the practice. So pray that God would bless her as she is fulfilling her purpose, her plan, her future, and her hope.
That's nice. That's so nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us today, Beverly, for Morning
No,
Moments.
thank you for having me. I do appreciate it, and I am glad to have met you out of the blue. But it was a blessing to meet you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you all for joining us for Morning Moments. If you would keep coming back, and may God richly bless you.